Go. Now we on.
Now we
Now
on.
we live and in color. Okay. So Chelsea, talk to me. Where we at? What we doing right now?
We are curating the sound and even dare I say the soundscape for this.
Ooh,
Yeah.
come on.
For
That
this
stirs me. So
soundscaping. Yeah.
let me say this before we get into it. We have a couple of videos of prophetic moments, songs that carry different sounds and stuff. And we pulling up a few and referencing them, mainly because a lot of times when we talk about a sound, it can be very conceptual and certain terms can mean different things to different people. But something I've always wanted to do was do kind of like a breakdown as a leader, especially a leader who flows a lot and flows musically and loves the support of minstrels and Levites to carry the sound into what God's doing. Oftentimes, we don't have the benefit of a leader being able to articulate what grabs a hold of them in a sound, giving language to some of the prophetic and some of the other spiritual technologies that music and a sound carries in activating a move of God. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down on this video, watching a couple of videos. We'll be stopping and starting to give explanation to, as we're hearing different references, the things that are speaking out, the things that are characterizing this moment, because what we believe for Kairos culture and Prism specifically is that Prism is going to carry a sound, and the sound is going to shake the barriers. Everything that is going to happen, I believe, is going to flow from the sound that's released and emanates from this move. And so we want to get into cultivating an awareness of that and breaking down some of the pragmatics behind developing that, so that as we're going into rehearsals, we're not just rehearsing songs. That's a major important component, but we're rehearsing the skill sets and the ability to be able to harness prophetic moments and be able to capture them sonically through the unity of the band. And so you're going to hear from me, you hear from Chelsea, and we'll just go back and forth on different things. Hopefully this won't be like an eternal video, but we're going to reference a few so that we can get in it. And hopefully there'll be some really practical takeaways for anybody who watches this on any instrument to know, hey, this is how we cultivate these moments and provoke the prophetic spirit, provoke movement, and really assist what God's doing in a room for a gathering like the one we're about to have. So with that being said, we're going to watch this video first. This is my pastor, Apostle Matthew Stevenson. Love that man. And we're going to reference a few of his videos, actually, because I think that All Nations has such a character of their prophetic sound, and so much of it matches Of the River and me as a leader. And so a lot of times at Kairos culture gatherings, it has felt very All Nations, not necessarily because we're trying to copy, but ultimately because I believe like some of that, like that apostolic sound, there's just kind of a carryover. And I think that they capture it in a really, really unique way. And so we're just going to break down some of this video and talk through some of the things for me as a leader and for Chelsea as an MD that are like, hey, this is like what we need. This is what we need to be paying attention to, intentionally injecting this into the moments that are being created. So with that being said, do you want to say anything before we take it away, Chelsea?
No, I'm excited. I totally agree with everything that you said. I'm ready to get into it. So are we starting from the beginning, or we're going to do a few minutes in? Where did you want
Let's
to
start from the beginning just for a little bit so we can hear. Right now, why we're listening to this video is because we want to really hear the transition. You know, those open moments when somebody's preaching, somebody's prophesying, where there isn't any rhythm. Transitioning into rhythm is a massive way, not just to sound good, but it's a massive way to capture prophetically what's happening, even paying attention to pace and paying attention to rhythm of the speaker and capturing that moment to find that pocket for what God's doing. So we can run it from the beginning, and I think we'll get about 2 minutes in before we skip ahead.
All right, let's do it.
I feel like God is delivering you from a spirit of grief. Come on, I want some of you real quick. We got to move, but 20 of you need to divorce yourself from the spirit of heaviness right now.
Real quick, I want you to pause it. I want, for whoever's watching, I want you to pay attention to the fact that Apostles' preaching actually already has a rhythm to it. And so what's happening is, for the musicians, one thing you'll find, especially for me as a worship leader, and a rapper and different things like that, my preaching has a massive rhythm to it. And most preachers have a rhythm to their preaching. But one of the biggest things is finding that rhythm, because it's not traditional, like, oh, rap flow, but there is a rhythm and you can catch a cadence in the spirit and in the natural. And so I want you to hear, as he's going, the rhythm that's being created and how the musicians pick up that rhythm. So go ahead.
Come on, a spirit of heaviness. I feel the spirit of heaviness leaving your life. This anxiety is not from God. This indecision is not from God. This despair, this sadness that you're waking up with. Come on, you've been trying to brace yourself so that you will not be disappointed. But I announce before you today, you are waxing strong. You are waxing strong. You are not getting older. You're waxing strong. You are not delayed. You are waxing strong. You are not overlooked. You are waxing strong. You are not overwhelmed. You are waxing stronger. Stronger. Receive that. Stronger. 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 There's a bocatori. Stronger. 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 Glory to glory. Faith to faith. Strength to strength. Strengthened with might in your inner. Woo. What? My God, I see bats flying out of here. You spirit of heaviness. You spirit of heaviness. I curse you. I curse you. You will not harass. Oh! You will not harass. You will not abduct. You will not kidnap the emotions, the decisions, the daily lifestyle of these people. We sever your work. We sever your work. We break your power. Come on. Come on. Come on, something's happening in your emotions. Oh, you want to get, I said something's happening in your emotions. Some of you have been believing for physical miracles. God is doing something for you emotionally. Yeah, I feel the fire. Your emotional self. Your emotional self. Your emotional self. Come on, get ready. He's trying to upgrade you. He's trying to upgrade you for the next level. Your emotions have got to act different. For the next level, your thinking has got to be different. Your inner man has got to change. Come on, all nations. Get my inner man ready. 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 Don't release me into my assignment until I'm ready. Don't release me into the influence until my inner man. Until. Oh, I wish you had a desperate cry. I don't want to be married until my inner man is ready. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Woo. Something has hit this place. Something has hit this place. The weight of God. The weight of God. Oh. Oh. He's been waiting for an opportunity to get in your inner man. He's been waiting for the right moment to get in your inner man. Oh. Come on. Come on, Zion. Come on.
Another thing I want to point out real quick is with music, so often we can think about supporting someone sonically, but not supporting them spiritually. And what I feel like is being pointed out to me so strong, and one of the things that I think All Nations Band does so well, is that it feels like an emphasis in the spirit to what's being said in the natural. It feels like there is partnership and agreement sonically with the thing that he's saying, what he's preaching. And so he's talking about the development of the inner man, growing the inner man, different things of that nature. That is a spiritual exchange. That's basically essentially talking about the scripture, I think, is referenced in Ephesians 3, being strengthened with might in your inner man. growing in your capacity. And so what it sounds is very much feels like a partnership in that way, sonically capturing that moment where it's very big, but it's for the purpose of, it's not just like big and like violent sounding as much as it feels like it's commanding a moment where that spiritual exchange is taking place and power is being dispensed. And the music is emphasizing that. That's also helping, I believe, for the facilitation of that experience for the people in the room. So yeah, that was what I was going to say. I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
Yeah, you pause it at a great point, because in addition to what you're saying, there's an agreement, but there's also a reality that contention is still happening. And
Yes.
The musicians are able to capture that with the half steps, the kind of like, you know, like, is that a wrong note or not? Like, you can hear the tension. So let me rewind real quick, because the guitar is doing something that's not really typical, but kind of captures the tension of people possibly wrestling with their own inner man.
Yeah.
To kind of yield to what the Lord's trying to do in the room. So let me get this part real quick.
Come on, Zion. Come on, that's what the burden is. That's what the endurance is. Oh! That's what the longevity is. It's in your inner man. That's where your strength is. It's in your inner man. That's how you find wisdom. It's in your inner man. That's where you get your peace from. It's in the inner man. Your stability, it's a matter of the inner man. Your consistency, a matter of the inner man. A matter of the inner man. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, yo, give that for.
Real quick, I want to make sure I do find that point real quick.
Yeah.
It's in the inner man. Your stability. Come on, Zion. Come on, that's what the burden is. That's what the endurance. Oh, he's been waiting for an opportunity to get in your inner man. He's been waiting for the right moment to get in your inner man. Oh, come on, Zion. Come on, that's what the burden is. That's what the endurance is. Oh, that's what the longevity is. It's in your inner man. That's what.
Yeah, you can hear it with the slides, but there's one part before where he's going, like playing with those neighboring notes that, and a chord probably would very much so clash, but separately, like you can hear how it does still fit in the moment. So let me get back to where we were.
That's good. But then when you hear that rhythm coming in, I think it's so interesting to me how seamless it is.
Yeah.
How they go straight into a rhythm that it matches the moment, because they're following the cadence of Apostle as he's flowing, and it feels like they jumped in it, right? And you didn't even realize it was happening unless you paid attention to it. So you can go from where you're at now.
Okay. Real quick, there's a secret to how they flowed, is the use of the kick along with the cymbals throughout. Like they built it up. So like high worship, we just all cymbals and no one's using the kick, but throwing that kick in there every once in a while throughout kind of helps get a head start on the rhythm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, that's how you stay away from seduction, the inner man. That's how you find what you need.